residential fire sources.
And this
I'm gonna make it fun. There's nobody else in here, right?
slow down.
But it's for the record.
And this one is even easier.
Ooh, I like that.
The 2010 California Building Code, which actually became effective in 2011, requires exit assist sprinklers for all new single and two-family dwelling units. And the reason we talk about exit assist sprinklers is because it's a lower standard than the typical water sprinklers that you see in commercial buildings. Effectively, it was a compromise, and it was to help people be able to get out of burning buildings, not in order to put the fire out. Typically, residential uses a 5/8" meter. What they found is that for these residential fire systems, they don't want separate systems because that provides a lot of complications. They want to run it through the meter, and they basically need a 1" meter in order to make the hydraulics work. The way the city system is designed, the amount, what you charge for a connection fee is based on your meter size. It's a relative connection. It's a relative, based on the amount of water that you can provide. The difference is, in order to increase from a 5/8 to a 1", that could increase the CFF that these homes pay between $3,500 and $12,000 per home. Whoa, slow this down. And basically, the big issue is that the larger meter currently puts the builders at a disadvantage with regard to that capital facility fee. And what they've requested is that they're telling us that there is very little profit in home building today, and the home builders have indicated that that additional fee can't be passed on to new homeowners because the market wouldn't support a home increase. The other real key is that there is no nexus between that larger meter and the higher connection fee in this case, only because the larger meter is only in the event of a fire, and it really doesn't indicate the tendency of a house to take in more water. Really, approving the exception to our CFF would allow Lathrop to keep the cost of development as low as possible and to encourage construction of new homes in town. There are several developers, unfortunately, they weren't able to make it here tonight, that suggested that without this exception, they may not be able to continue with home building in the near future. The exception really keeps the connection fee at the same cost if that larger meter is only required for fire flow.
Okay.
That's the recommendation.
Question.
Go.
If we do what they're asking us to do, that 3,000 to 12,000 fee, we will not collect, right?
We will still collect a connection fee. It's just we won't collect that increase up to that $12,000 increase.
And if we don't approve, we will collect it.
We would collect it, and we've been assured that that could stall home building for several of the developers.
If we collect it, where would that money go?
The money is really for to make payments into it's the capital facility fee program, so it's for building new water tanks, the major transmission mains.
So now, since the home prices are low, they are crying that the city should not collect this fee so that they can sell a house. And hold on. And they cannot charge this to the homeowner, so this will come out of their profit, right?
Or actually, what they're telling us is that the profit is so small that would cut their profit to less than zero, and they wouldn't build.
When they were selling houses, those were built at the cost of about $300,000, and they were selling it for $750,000. They didn't come to us and ask us, "You want profit sharing?"
This is true.
Right?
This is true.
Let them pay it out of their profit.
Times have changed.
I know time has changed, but it has not changed that bad.
Yeah,
They are still, if they were not making profits, they will not build a house.
Well, I concur, but when you start losing, people start losing their houses, times are still pretty bad.
And our other concern is that if we increase the meter size just for this fire flow, that we don't believe that we can justify that additional connection fee, which for other facilities that need a 1" meter in order to provide all of the restrooms or all the other facilities, if the 1" is justified based on the water they intend to use on a routine basis, that it really fits in with our existing CFF. But if it's increased only for that once in a 20-year event of a fire, that it's hard to justify that fee should be increased to that large extent.
We are not doing it, this is the state law. That's what the state wants us to do, right?
As far as providing the sprinklers, yes.
Yes, and now since it cuts into their profit, now they are here asking for a break, basically.
That's one view of it.
Okay.
Is that going to give them any contingency to build or not build here?
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
But the question is that if we're tapping into their profits, you know, whether it's minuscule or not, would that give them a reason to build here or not build here?
What we've been told is that the profit is so minimal that if they need to pay the additional up to $12,000 for that connection fee, that they won't be building.
Question
That-
here.
that's-
Go.
What are the other cities doing?
The other cities are all considering the same issue.
Has
This
any-
is something brand new. What actually happened is most of the developers pulled building permits at the end of last December.
Prior.
And if they were pulled, if the building permits were applied for before the end of the calendar year, then this didn't apply to them.
Okay.
And so those permits have really gone through, and so this issue is just coming up. In talking with our neighboring cities, they're all considering the same issue.
Has anybody approved anything yet?
Not that I know of.
Then why are we in a hurry?
Again, what our developers have told us is that they're come to the point now where they're going to stall unless it's something that can be resolved. At least that's what we're being told.
Senior Councilman, we're in a hurry. I think we in the city just want to take some quantum leaps. We want to beat everybody else to the game. Show us. And we show them.
It's just a game.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just,
what he said.
it's
Didn't I
not,
just say game?
it's,
Didn't I just say game?
it's nothing but greed, that's all it is.
I
Greed
do.
and need, buddy.
I do want to make the point that I absolutely don't believe that in providing this exception that we're taking any money out of the program that we've established. Because if you take a 3,500 square foot house and you have a 5/8 inch meter, if you take that house and you add a 1 inch meter, the home is not going to take any more water than it would have otherwise. And so to charge them a larger connection fee just because that meter is larger because of that one-time event in potentially 20 years, that the costs that we've anticipated are all accounted for. This would be just additional money the city would see in that program that isn't anticipated.
Why don't we wait and see what the other cities, the neighboring cities do? Then we can. go
That's an
from there.
option. That's an option we have.
Question.
Go.
I just forgot my question.
Okay,
Hold on, it'll
second
come
go.
to me. It'll come to me.
Okay.
It
Connect,
literally just,
connect the pipe?
gosh, I can't remember.
Must have
It'll
been-
come to me, but I do have a
Must have
comment.
been a lie.
Oh, okay, here's my
got it.
question. Can we, if we approve this, can we put a time period to it? So can we say,
Use it or lose it?
for the next 3 years, we'll do this, and then in 3 years, come back and look at it? Or 5 years and whatnot?
I would leave that to the city attorney.
The change in the fee would be effective until changed back. So the action item would be changed forever, but the direction of the staff would be to bring it back in 3 years, and then it could be changed at any point.
look at it again.
And then that forever obviously ends at whenever there's a change.
If I may ask, could we put a sunset period on the exception? I don't know that that's a preference. But
Certainly, you could. You could. If that's the direction from council, then we can structure it that way. It's a good idea.
Just a comment, Council. The way I understand the issue is last year, a year ago today, if somebody came in and pulled a building permit for a residential home, the CFF, the fee for water was $3,000. Because of the new fire code, they had to have bigger pipes inside the home and requiring a bigger meter to feed those pipes. So today, instead of $3,000 for the same thing a year ago, today it's $12,000. And so there's $9,000 difference there that it's sort of a windfall to the city that would go into the city fee program to do things with. And that's the basic objection of the developers. They're saying that, wait a minute, it doesn't seem fair that we have this new law imposed by the state that cause us to have to upgrade all the pipes for this water distribution system inside the house, and then on top of that, we get this increased fee from the city of $9,000. So they're asking us, city, can you reevaluate your fee and keep your fee what it was a year ago instead of increasing it $9,000, because the home is only using the same amount of water, and it's the same size home that it was a year ago. So, so our understanding of the issue is it's largely a requirement because of the new state law, and if we don't change the fee, we don't reduce the fee, for example, the city fee program would be getting a windfall, and that could even potentially be challenged because the fees weren't set up for that kind of windfall. And if we did a new fee study just based on that, we might be required to reduce it on that basis alone. So that's why this issue came before you. And I believe there is a speaker.
That's a much better explanation. Thank you, Carrie.